Hello, my friend, and thank you for joining us here on the Disney Travel Secret Show. Rob and Kerri Stuart here, coming to you from the Creating Magic Vacation Studio in Windermere, Florida. You are listening to episode 397, original air date September 23rd, 2024.
And this week's show is a very popular topic, and that is navigating Walt Disney World during the very busy times, aka fall break.
Yes, things are always changing at Disney, which we call job security.
And Walt himself told us over 65 years ago when he opened Disneyland that we are always going to be changing it. And that means we not only have to keep on top of the changes for you, but we have to go and try the new things in person, which is one of the reasons that we moved here.
Hello, my friends. This is former Disney Imagineer Hugh Darley, and you're listening to Disney Travel Secrets with my friends Rob and Kerri Stuart. As you can imagine, I have plenty of Disney secrets myself, and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's get this show on the road. Take it away, guys.
This is where I planned to do a shout out to a few people, and I really just can't remember who it was because I forgot to write it down.
How dare you?
I know.
Well, let's do a shout out to one of our awesome clients and listeners, and that is Lanille and her daughter Catherine from Idaho. You guys are going to have a blast at the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party this year. Super excited for you.
And that reminds me, the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is just about sold out for all the nights. And we will be going in mid-October.
Yeah, so as of the date that we recorded this, there were only 4 nights available, and they were all towards the end of October. Now, the Christmas party in Hollywood, or Jollywood nights, I can never recall that the right thing.
Not the best name.
Are still available, except for the opening night for the party at Magic Kingdom. But that will change.
It'll be interesting to see if the Hollywood party ever sells out or if they just kind of plus it up this year and word gets around for next year.
Yeah, we shall see. So I was listening to a really fun podcast this morning, and they were talking about a trip, and it really got me thinking because the host was saying they've gone to the same resort the last couple years and how the magic just wasn't there the second year because all these activities they had there, the lodging and the people even that were there were the exact same. So he said, I don't know if I'm going to go back. And that kind of got me thinking about Disney trips. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I think is so cool is you can go year after year and you can do something different. It can be a totally different trip. Disney just has that extra magic.
That they do. And in Orlando, there is a lot to do also outside of the parks if you want to explore the area either before or after your non-park day.
So much stuff to do. And we are always learning about new things around here all the time.
And sometimes travel can be just a day trip, like the one we just did with Dream Cars for Kids. It was a charity car rally from Lake Nona over to Titusville. It was the most exciting drive we have ever done.
Which is hard to say because we have done the Celebration Exotic Car Festival the last couple of years, and they have a fun rally.
Well, and to be fair, they are very different events. The Celebration Exotic Car Festival is an entire weekend of events, including a concert, a day and a half of cars on display, and a huge dinner, which is why we are staying on property again next year over in Celebration.
And Dream Cars for Kids, though, is a one-day driving event. And the driving was some of the most fun and also a little scary that we have ever done.
I'm glad you were there to be my navigator. This event could literally be called License to Speed because we had a police escort literally the entire day. With the Celebration Exotic Car Festival, they take us a part of the way and then they kind of let us go. But on this drive, they let us go really fast.
Well, and I think one of the best parts was the intersections being completely shut down for our group. We were driving through red lights, and I think that the police enjoyed it as much as we did.
I agree. And people on some of those back roads where we were doing way over the speed limit, but I'm not going to say how much over. But for a long stretch on a few of the back roads with highway patrol car that was directly behind us with his lights flashing, the people on the side of the road had to be thinking that we were trying to outrun him and thinking that he was trying to pull us over.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. And I got a couple of videos of that, and even one like where we were looking back at him. That was super fun. Okay, we're going about 40 miles over the speed limit. There's a cop right on us.
But will he catch us?
No, we got this, babe.
Anyway, it was a great event and a toy drive benefiting the kids at Parish Children's Center.
I had a blast, and I even learned about some new things that you can do in Titusville and Cocoa Beach, and some of them would be perfect for an adventure traveler if you're doing a cruise out of Port Canaveral. Pre or post?
Yes. So we are doing a lot of travel in the next 2 months, and so much so that just over a week ago, we postponed a DVC trip over to Sarasota Springs that we were supposed to go on the 14th, because on that day was also the rally that we just mentioned.
And that week, we also were at Sandals Royal Bahamian for a travel conference. And then I have my annual girls trip this month. And yeah, there's just a lot going on.
And the following weekend is my 40th high school reunion in St. Louis. Go Lancers. And then October 1st is our 15th wedding anniversary, which we'll probably just go out for a nice dinner and not really travel anywhere. Normally we'd stay over at Disney, but the DVC rooms were totally booked.
And we would also, I think, just be really tired, because then 2 weeks after that, we go to our annual Earmarked Agency Owners Summit event, which we love. This is for earmarked agency owners only. And for those of you listening, you're like, what does that mean? You're probably more familiar with that term, authorized Disney vacation planner.
Also, we have another Weekends on the Wish cruise in early November. This year has been one of, maybe not the busiest, but one of the busiest travel years ever. We have several trips booked for 2025, including a river cruise conference in Vienna, Austria.
I'm so excited for that.
I know. A dude ranch in Montana with some clients.
Also super excited.
That have become friends, and a few cruises that are benefiting Folds of Honor.
And I do have a shout out to Fleet Transportation. Sam and his team take care of Rob and I to get us to and from the airport. Takes away so much stress. So when we moved here from Tampa, that airport was so much closer.
And still our favorite.
It still is our favorite. And getting an Uber there was just more reliable. In Orlando, not so much. We quickly have learned after some failed attempts that MCO Uber pickup drivers just sometimes it doesn't work out so well.
And we've waited sometimes 30 or 40 minutes for the drivers to arrive here. It's also very stressful when you need to make a flight and your Uber gets lost and suddenly drops your trip. Lyft has even canceled on more than one occasion while we were at the airport, and they just got lost and didn't know what level to be on.
It's so frustrating, because that has happened more than once. And when you're excited to either get to your vacation at Disney or get to the cruise port, nothing is worse than waiting and delays at that airport. And we have worked with several private transfer, like black car service companies in Orlando for clients and ourselves. And the one thing that has been disappointing is sometimes the lack of communication, or they have a call center that answers the phone and they don't know what's going on.
But not Fleet, so you should reach out to them. You can find them at fleetfl.com. We'll put a link in the show description. They have a great price and will make a grocery stop on the way if you do a pickup order, and they meet you at baggage claim. We can't recommend them enough. Mention us when you talk to Sam.
And we are not talking about all these trips to brag.
No.
It's just we still have a business to run, and we generally like spending time in our new home and also taking the time to go see agents and clients when we're in the park. So we're going to be enjoying when we're not on the road. End of September can't come fast enough.
So speaking of the Travel Agent Conference at Sandals Royal Bahamian, this is also a reminder to all of you that we sell a lot more than just Disney.
Yeah, and before we were known for Disney, we were known for cruising. We even wrote a book called Just Add Water, Your Guide to the Ultimate Cruise Vacation.
But don't buy that just yet. We wrote this book in 2014, and as you know, a lot has happened, not just since COVID, but even the years leading up to the shutdown with all of the new ship builds.
And we just finished the update, and we will keep you posted when the new one is available for you to order. And you know what? I think we could even sign some copies if you like.
We can. So it's now time for a quick park update. Over at Hollywood Studios, they recently ripped out all the seating in the very hot area over by Woody's Lunchbox and added some seatings over towards Batu on the side of Galaxy's Edge. Why? We don't know yet.
The only thing I'm thinking is maybe they're building a more permanent structure. And they can add some fans in there and keep it a little cooler, but we'll keep an eye on it.
And we've eaten there usually for breakfast, and as nice and cutesy as it is very hot over there. So fall break season is right around the corner, which means now is a great time to review some of the top tips for navigating the very busy season we call fall break.
Fall break is busy.
It is a little crazy.
So typically, those busy weeks in October will be the second week, which has Columbus Day, and the third week. And there are multiple school districts all around the country that have those weeks off, which is why this happens.
Tip number one, Plan and book as early as you can. Make reservations for parks, dining, and special experiences as soon as possible. If you are already too late, if you hadn't made them for this October, try using some tools like mousedining.com to monitor cancellations.
If this is the best time for your vacation this fall break season, you know what? If you missed out this year, don't wait to book 2025. Some people will think it's better to wait until sales come out, but don't do it. We can always modify, and if a better offer comes out.
Tip number 2, utilize early theme park entry, and this is a game changer. Staying at Disney Resort, you can take advantage of that 30-minute early entry into any theme park every single day.
And what a lot of guests don't realize is that just that 30 minutes gives you a huge advantage. You can get further into the park. So for Magic Kingdom, you'll be in Fantasyland and Tomorrowland because those are the two that open. And you can be further back, get a ride or two in, and then immediately hop over to Frontierland or Liberty Square before the regular guests do.
Tip number 3, when it is a busy season, always use the lightning lane options. Yes, you're going to pay for these, but your time is money. So you could either waste time by standing in the lines, or you can pay to get on more attractions.
And that's a really good point. Right now, for example, I can't wait to see how this pans out in fall break because Tron is either a Lightning Lane single pass purchase, which we recommend, or you have to stand by. And the week that they removed that virtual queue and changed it, the wait times were wild for that ride.
What we saw was all of the other wait times were pretty low, but Tron standby queue was at sometimes all the way backed up to Tomorrowland, which is crazy.
So our strategy is to come up with your top 3 rides in each park, then grab your selection 7 days out, staying on property.
Which is a reason to stay on property.
Yeah, and 3 if not, and use the Lightning Lane multi-pass. But don't wait until the last day or day of, because those Lightning Lane single passes will fill up, and those multi-pass ones will fill up too for the popular attractions.
Another reason to stay on property, moving on to tip number 4, take advantage of rope drop. If you're new to the Disney parks, rope drop is literally when the cast members allow guests to certain locations in the park and hold them back with a rope. When it's officially open time, they drop the rope. But if you're going to use one of our earlier tips here and do the 30-minute entry.
But a couple of key points here. If you plan ahead to take rides at rope drop and you don't have the early entry, be really strategic. Knock out a lot of the less popular rides if doing the rides are your thing, and do those in the morning, because what most people do is try to do the big ones, which are super popular.
And I know where the rides are in the parks. This is where getting to know the app before your trip is a great idea. We call it your Disney vacation homework. And if you work with a travel advisor who specializes in Disney, then you can have them give you some recommendations based on your personal must-dos.
And you know what? And that's really important because a lot of people will go online and get these random, hey, this is the order that you should grab everything in. But I was talking with a client just today, and she has a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And we were talking about park strategy. The rides she wants to go on and that her kids are tall enough to go on are completely different than if she were to just go to one of these random, whether it's a book or, hey, here's the list of what you should grab. So don't base your vacation on somebody else's opinions. Work with somebody who understands you and your family, and they can give you better advice on what to do. So tip number 5 is understand that crowds follow each other. And it's a very interesting thing, and I'm always super curious because it never fails that people do the same thing all the time. We see this all the time when we're in the parks. So for example, at Magic Kingdom, they all rush to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and now Tron right at Park Open.
And we just personally experienced this on the Dream Cars for Kids ride. There was a spot where we drove by this one street, and you were looking at the map going, I think we're supposed to turn here because that was the shortest way. But the 6 cars in front of us kept going. We're like, I guess that's the way.
That's true. We did.
Over at Animal Kingdom, it's Flight of Passage. So do the opposite. Head to Dinosaur or Everest first, then pay for Lightning Lane or Flight of Passage, or just do it later.
Or when it gets to be around 11:30 or 1, everyone decides that they would like to go get some food. If they didn't have a reservation, they're going to the quick service. So pre-order what you want if you're doing quick service so you don't have to wait a long time for the food. You can order it on the bus ride over, pick your pickup time, and also think about things when the shows get out. Like we've seen this a million times over at Hollywood Studios. When Indiana Jones gets out, where does everybody go? Well, the natural exit kind of puts you pointed towards going towards Star Tours. So guess what gets a little longer right after those shows? Star Tours.
I'm sure they knew that answer. And we know sometimes, not all people, but sometimes the uninformed people are lazy. They just go to the next ride they see. This is why when you first get to Epcot, most guests, especially first timers, get in line for Spaceship Earth. That line is always long in the morning at Park Open. Then they head over to Soarin' and work their way around. So think the opposite.
Like at Magic Kingdom, rope drop for non-Disney resort guests. They will start at the castle, waiting to be able to be let in, and most people will go straight to Tomorrowland or Fantasyland because, well, it's normal to go towards your right. So why not head to Frontierland or Adventureland first?
One of the most obvious crowd flows to watch is at the end of the parade at Magic Kingdom or the end of Happily Ever After. Guests immediately head for the exit. What happens? The lines for the buses, boats, and the monorails will be super long. So stick around in the park and wait a little bit.
And if you are doing the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party this year, know that at 4 p.m. when they let you in, because a lot of you don't have a ticket that day, that is going to be super, super, super busy. So even if you're okay waiting until 5 p.m., you can beat that huge holdup.
The crowds for the parties are very predictable. They'll hit the candy stations in the order they see them as they enter the park. So if you get further back in the park and do those first.
I've been guilty of that.
Yes, you have.
Not much we can advise, though, on those specialty character meet and greets at the parties. Just know they're really popular and the line will be long.
On the other hand, if rides are more your thing and you don't care about stage shows or even the fireworks show, that's a great time to catch the rides.
Yeah, the lines tend to be a little bit shorter.
They do.
Tip number 6 is know what you are going to do for dining. Now, when we mentioned making your mobile orders early so you can get those pickup times, I know we're well past the 60 days in advance for dining for October, but if you have a holiday trip coming up in November or December, mark your calendar and make sure that you get advanced dining for the sit-downs.
Yeah, dining and other advanced reservations like Savvy's Workshop or the tours, they open at 6 a.m. Eastern online, 7 a.m. if you're calling it in. One exception is Bibbidi Bobbidi. That opens at midnight Eastern.
And if you are more of a take it day by day style traveler, or maybe for Epcot you plan to hit the food and wine booths, at least have a plan of where you want to go so you don't waste time thinking, where should we go get food? And then someone ends up getting hangry.
We're not going to say who that is. Does that happen to you?
Maybe.
Tip number 7. Wow, we did a lot of these. Get a park hopper. When it's busy in a park and you just want to get out of a big crowd like maybe you see in Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios especially, it's nice to have the option to park hop because you don't know, maybe there's some kind of a special event that you're not aware of and you walk in, you're like, oh my gosh, this park way too crowded. Just go to another park.
Yeah, give yourself that option. And the Skyliner and the monorail make it so easy to get to Epcot. And you always have the buses. And I get it with little kids. It's a challenge if you have strollers. So it's just nice to be able to not be locked in if one of the parks just feels super, super busy, or you want to do one in the morning, take a nap, and then come back for the evening.
We do expect lots of park hoppers this fall break because of the special Disney had for a bit with free park hopper upgrade on a 4-day ticket. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the crowd floor or not.
And I'm sure some statistician at Disney is going to be watching.
They're always watching.
They're always watching.
So I hope you got at least one good tip or a reminder for your upcoming Disney vacation this fall break or next year's fall break or even during the other holiday seasons.
And next week, we will share some additional food items we tried at Food and Wine Festival. We're also going to go into a deep dive into what the real differences are between the Disney Value Resorts and the Disney Deluxe Resorts.
We have stayed at every single one of them on property, and we think it will help you get a better idea of why you may want to choose one over the other. And it's not just about the price.
And as always, if we can help you plan your next vacation, Disney or any other destination, please reach out to us or your Creating Magic Vacations Travel Advisor. All you have to do is go to our website and click on Plan a Vacation. Pretty simple.
And if you love planning vacations and maybe you're looking for a second stream of income or maybe you want to eventually become job optional, and you want to start a career in travel, we're actively bringing on new agents. Go to creatingmagicvacations.com and click on Join Our Team.
And for those who are military or retired military, or your spouse is, and you would like to join our team, be sure to ask about the CMV Heroes Project benefiting Folds of Honor.
Thanks again for listening or watching if you're watching this on YouTube. Until next time, have a magical day.
As always, we hope to see you real soon.